that we got to witness that. Now, as we get into game number 2, the map choice is Newkirk Precinct. So, still the same players. Another big map that can possibly set up for base trades. Oh, did you get in here? Okay, you did. Excellent.
Yep, I'm in.
Panicked for the moment. Had to make sure my partner was with us, guys. Hooey.
No worries. Jin's usually a pretty good admin. He's actually very on point usually. So very curious to see how this next map goes. It is going to be Newkirk Precinct.
Yeah. To kick it off, unfortunately, whoops, that's the wrong score. He's down 1 game in this best of 3. In the lower right side, we've got the blue Zerg player, Leenock.
And his opponent down here in the bottom left, a champion. It is Zest. And showing that champion quality in that last game. Like, I feel like sometimes games like that are the difference between, like, the absolute best and, like, the next tier below them is, like, Zest is one of the few players who would just stay in that game, just, like, never giving up hope, never, like, getting tilted, just doggedly fighting until his last breath. And once in a while, you'll actually make a comeback in that situation and somehow win.
You know, there's part of this, too, where if we rewind back a bit and we talk about how we knew what Zest was going to do from the get-go of that game, and I think Leenock knew, too. That being said, a game that should have been predictable and easy to handle turned into such a messy, fantastic, wonderful, like, end. This is why I still love StarCraft after years of watching all the same games over and over and over again.
It really is. There's just so much that can happen in StarCraft. There are so many different variabilities, and looks like Zest here just going to come across with quite an early probe scout, which is, I find it slightly surprising since this is a big map where you don't get to block the hatchery, even with an early probe scout. But it looks like Zest here just wanting to play very safe, maybe fearing some sort of early pool action from Leenock, and is just going to keep on harassing this mineral line, trying to be as annoying as possible. Leenock, meanwhile, going to be going for a very fast third hatchery before he starts up any queen production. So a very economic build once again from Leenock, but he is going to have the power of that fast Zergling speed this time around.
I will say he did a pretty good job fending off Zest last game without it. Again, I can't say for certainty that Zest is going to do the same build again with the same DT timing, the same Warp Prism, but as much as I was impressed by him last game, I kind of remember now, I forgot about this too, like Zest kind of threw away his Warp Prism, he lost those 2 DTs right off the bat. Like, that was actually a very messy start for him.
Yeah, I mean, after winning that though, it's such a confidence booster. So I kind of feel like he got lucky that like he's gotten back, you know, he worked hard for it, but it's a real confidence booster, and it's good for your psychology as a player if you can come back and win that game after a bad start, because you know he's saying, there is no way I'm losing that Warp Prism 2 games in a row. There's no way I'm throwing away that first Adept 2 games in a row. So with a cleaner opening, I definitely think Zest could do very well here. I think against maybe like Dark or something like that, I don't think there's any way Dark would ever lose to Zest if he gets the Warp Prism, if he gets a few of those early DTs. But it felt like Zest kind of managed to stay pretty close in overall supply with Leenock, and kind of stayed pretty even with him despite that early damage that he took. So Zest, if he can clean up the early game, might be able to just steamroll this one.
You know, I kind of forgot too. I don't want to keep pointing out all of Zest's mistakes and errors, right? But the Adept losing it that early last game kind of sucked. Keeping it alive this game, I was hoping he would have stayed on Leenock's side of the map. If he had seen that really fast Evo chamber, which he did not scout, he maybe would have had an easier time predicting Overlord drops. I mean, Leenock's going to get right past this wall. Zest has been doing a lot of these double-layered walls. It's really cool. It stops busts, but
Leenock is going all in as well.
Yeah.
So that double-layered wall is going to be so important for holding this. This is a mass speedling all-in. Already has the elevator in the main mineral line. Going to start grabbing some probes. Nice probe micro from Zest here, trying to minimize the surface area and so on, but does already lose 6 probes. Nice drop there from Leenock, and the Zergling YOLO is going to start hitting that front wall. What's he going to target? Looks like he's going to go for the pylon and the Zealot for now. Is he going to tank that overcharge? No, he does pull back. Realizes that he can't fight that overcharge. Might just elevator on top of this Adept though. Yeah, I think this is the right call.
I mean, nice. He's got so many links. He could just keep doing this endlessly. The one Adept is not a problem. The probes get pulled. They're going to try and keep it alive, but it finally gets focused down. Second Adept comes in. Mothership Core doing what she can, but the surround is too good, and all the defenses of Zest are just disappearing.
And that Zealot in the wall's about to go down as well. There's nothing blocking behind it, but oh, Leenock just slightly too slow to get through that wall. He's going to start to take down the pylons, though. He's got Zerglings hitting from two sides here, but oh, very good wall-offs. Holy hot damn. DT's there. He's got the overcharge ready with the mothership as well, and it looks like Zest, even though he lost 13 probes, I think he's held on.
So this is where it gets cool for Zest. I brought this up earlier, like the double-layered wall he does. It's been extended, it's longer, and it's easier to fill those gaps if you lose it right at the front. And if he had built this SimCity any other way, I think Zest is dead this game. So it's really cool to see just how effective that was.
Very risky move there with the DT, coming out of the wall to try and defend them. But hey, the Cybergore is going to go down. He needs to do something. Leenock's starting to drone and get a lair behind this. But the Zerglings have broken in. He's still got a lot of Zerglings here right now. The probes are going to try and evacuate. Already 7 of them go down so quickly. And now Leenock can just run circles in this main base. He cannot defeat the Protoss units in a front-on fight. Nice probe block, trapping those Zerglings in the main base. Leenock just has to keep denying mining, keep picking off stray probes, and really occupy Zest while Leenock builds his own economy and tech back home.
Well, this is really big because I'm going to pull up the graph for just a moment here, but the income skyrockets for Leenock while this is going on because Zest is so busy pulling probes. He's not got consistent mining. He's down a significant amount of workers at this point, constantly juking and jiving these lings. I mean, he's doing a great job for what he can, but this is starting to feel like it might be getting a little too far gone, especially with Leenock having a third down. He just goes right back into droning. He's up +2 melee weapons finishing up 2, or starting up, excuse me. There's just a lot going for Leenock on the back end of this beyond what is just the lings here and now.
Nice. Another few probes go down. And yeah, it definitely looks like this has just gotten too far out of control for Zest. I thought he'd held for a moment, but he really needed to re-wall behind that Cybercore in order to shut down this aggression. He was focusing a little bit too much on the potential for the drop in the main base rather than just the frontal attack on his wall. These Zerglings finally go down, but at the end of all of this, 51 drones for Leenock, only 22 for Zest, and he's going to have to just try and counterattack and get some counter damage done. But there is a lair done. Overseer tech is ready. Oh no. And +2.
Overlord coming back in the main just as he pulls all his defenses out, so it really is going to be pretty much all or nothing at this point. There's no way he comes back home in time to defend against this.
Oh man, gonna lose that pylon. Those Zerglings gonna dive into that main base. It's gonna be completely forfeit. Meanwhile, there are a couple of Zerglings back at home. He needs to actually get them down to this third base with that Overseer. These DTs are gonna be able to focus down that Spore Crawler. Little do they know there's an Overseer just a moment away.
Even then, I feel like Zest could gut this base raw and still not have done enough damage to catch up to Leenock.
Yeah, it looks like Zest here cleverly gonna, pull back for now, but Leenock's going into Hydralisks, interestingly. +2 melee and Hydras. Hydra's a very good general unit. His Zerglings are just gonna be ridiculously powerful compared to anything Zest can make. And it looks like Zest here trying to go pretty much all in on what is basically one base production, picking up the Archon and the Zealots as best as he can, but this is desperation micro time right here. DT's coming as well.
He's showing off some pretty fantastic micro.
Oh, damn. Did he actually just manage to kill all those Zerglings? Yes, he did. Oh, man. Saves that Archon just as every single bit of its shields are gone. The Queen's going to go down as well.
Is he going to bring this back for real? No, there's spine crawlers, right? Like, that's got to be enough.
There's still no way he can win this game.
Yeah, Hydra's coming out. For a brief moment, though, that looked pretty hype. He takes down that army supply, a huge chunk.
Yeah, I mean, Zest is making... Like, he was so dead, he's punching his way halfway out of the coffin, but you got to punch yourself all the way out of the coffin for this one to count.
There's the GG.
Has to tap out. GG. Leenock takes that one out.
Okay, ties it up 1-1. We're going to get a game number 3. Could not ask for more between these two guys to kick off our day. In fact, I would be very happy if all the matches today went longer, because I would be so disappointed to have like the best Koreans possible gathered up and have like a bunch of 2-0s all over the place.
Sorry, just drinking a little bit of water there. I got to agree, man. The more 2-1s we get, the better. And this is kind of funny, right? Because Leenock basically won that game pretty... the first attack got held, did some decent damage, but it was looking good for Zest. Then that Cybercore went down, and it was like, nope, there's 30 Zerglings with +1 in your base, and you just can't catch them. Like, you're going to take too much damage. But that first game as well, Leenock was also ahead. So I think Zest here... there's got to be a lot of pressure on him going into this game number 3. I think Zest was a big favorite to make it out of this group over the likes of Leenock, but After that Zergling attack worked out there. I think it's going to be very interesting to see what map number 3 is.
What's really cool too, again, I just want to bring call back to Zest's walling, by the way. Again, I've been a little bit spoiled getting to see Zest come out and play in some of our things, but play just generally more online. And that double wall effect